crazed wolf dog suddenly lunged at its owner, who was already in grave danger. Within seconds, both man and beast were on the ground. But when the family returned and saw what had happened, none of them showed the slightest concern for the man. Instead, the adopted son rushed over to check on the dog. Struggling to breathe from a sudden asthma attack, the man reached desperately for the inhaler lying on the floor. Just as he was about to grab it, his adopted brother quietly snatched it away and hid it. Rather than help, the parents and sister lashed out, accusing him of faking his illness. Even his fiancée didn't believe him, thinking he was just picking on the adopted son's beloved pet. While the man was still fighting to breathe, the entire family ignored him and rushed the dog to the hospital. They not only doted on him, but also made him kneel in the rain and admit his mistakes. They even sent him to prison. But the adopted son bribed the prisoners and abused the man inhumanely every day. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. Today was the day the man was released from prison, but only his fiancée came to pick him up. It turned out that today it happened to be the day when the adopted son participated in a cello competition. The others all went to watch the adopted son's competition. Then the fiancé scolded the man. If he hadn't pushed the adopted son's brother down the stairs and hit him with his car, he wouldn't have been in prison for 3 years. At this time, the adopted son was surrounded by his family and praised non-stop. Because the adopted son and the man were both cello enthusiasts, but the man was praised by famous masters. The adopted son was jealous of the boy's achievements and background, so he repeatedly framed the man. When the man came home and saw the scene in front of him, he didn't show his joy of returning home. At this time, the man's future the fiancé also ran over to flirt with the adopted son. Seeing the fiancé flattering and fawning, the man sneered at him in his heart. At this time, the adopted son showed a very enthusiastic look. He came over with a smile to welcome the man, but the man didn't want to pay attention to his hypocrisy. Seeing this, the father criticized the man, but he still didn't care. He sat alone. At this time, the fiancé accidentally saw the injury on the man's body, but the adopted son, who was worried that the matter would be exposed, immediately pretended to have a problem with his knee. He immediately attracted everyone's attention. The man had no interest in this contrived self-torture and got up and left. But he didn't expect to run into a famous cellist as soon as he left the house. He learned that after listening to the man's performance 3 years ago, the master admired the man very much. This time he came here specifically to take the man as his apprentice. But at this time, the man was still worried about the prison he had been in. But the master told the man directly that he could change his identity for him and let him have a fresh start. Recalling everything in the past, the man resolutely accepted the master's invitation. When the man returned home, the result but found that the family heirloom jade bracelet was broken. As expected, the family thought that the man broke it on purpose out of hatred without asking the reason. The father immediately ordered people to take the man to kneel in the heavy rain. The man even learned that his once beloved fiancée was about to marry his adopted son. But for the man, all this was no longer important. On the day of his adopted son's wedding, the man put the USB flash drive containing all the truth into a gift box and gave it to the courier to deliver it to everyone as a surprise. Then he took all the luggage and burned his former self with a fire before leaving.